and bhavo existence or birth, non-existence or death, fear and also fearlessness, all these qualities. Let us see all these qualities and then we shall see why all these qualities are discussed here by Lord Krishna. First is intellect, buddhi. Intellect is the power which the antakaran, the fourfold inner instrument, the mind, the subconscious mind, intellect and wisdom. Mind and subconscious mind and intellect and wisdom. These four are known as inner fourfold mind. All these has of understanding subtle objects. Intellect. Intellect has the understanding of subtle subjects. Buddhi. In shortcut, this is the meaning of buddhi. The fourfold mind, and mind is lower, intellect. रहने दीजिए, रहने दीजिए जी. So, intellect consists all these, but particularly the intellect, it is, if we see it analytically, mind is nothing but a flow of continuous flow of thought waves. Waves are nothing but vibrations created by prana. It gives a push and then all these waves are created. They are called thought waves, and in these thought waves there are always opposites. When two will be there, one will be opposite to each other. In this way, all the two waves, all the waves have their influence over all other waves. So that influence or contact, that is called relationship also. When two will be there, there will be relationship. Two is seen when there is dissimilarities. Similarities will not have difference, so it will be only one. When two are counted, 2, 3, 4, 5, every one is different from the other. So what does it mean? There will be relationship, there will be dependency, there will be cooperation or relationship, many things. And there will be difference also. Then only it will two. In this way, every two thoughts, they act against each other, and every two thoughts will have a decisive thought. Decisive thought. So that decision is taken by, whatever decision is taken, that is the diagonal force. When in physics we see, when two forces act against each other, then the third diagonal force is created. That is the nature. So if two thoughts are created, then naturally there will be a third decisive thought. Between the two, what is what among the two thoughts, the qualities, the influence and everything will be considered, and then the diagonal force is the decisive thought. And in this way, every two will have the third. So the third, all the thirds, the one third will act against the other second third. In this way, just like league match, these decisions will go on and on, becoming subtler than the before, and in this way, the last will be discrimination. Last will be only semi-final. No, yes, semi-final where two thoughts will be there. And the final is absolute decision that cannot be deleted, that cannot be rejected. So that final is the one absolute without a second. That is called the absolute truth. And before that, there will be two thoughts. After all these decisions are taken, so that last two thoughts, they are called, either it is permanent or impermanent. That is called discriminative thought, discrimination between the permanent and impermanent. So, when the decision comes, the last will be one thought. Impermanent is always impermanent. It cannot exist. So, whatever decisions are taken, they are all rejected. The final decision is the absolute truth without a second. This is how the truth is understood by discrimination. And before that, of course, we have dispassion, we have many other qualities in between, and they are all subject to intellect. So intellect is nothing but nischayatmika buddhi. All these processes belong to intellect. So all these processes is known as together known as intellect. And this intellect, we have just as we have seen now, analytically. First, the decisions will be grosser, and then slowly it will be subtler and subtler. That is called sharpness of intellect. He has got a sharp intellect. That means he can decide to the subtlemost point, and slowly it results in intuition. Intuition is automatic decision from the heart itself. That, of course, is the culmination of the intellect. The intuition. Yes, Guruji?
Maharaj, it would be in the case of as well as love. Love at any instance analytically or logically.
What love?
The difference
Pardon?
between the two.
Love starts with the two, ends in one. That is the last. Everything starts with the two, ends in the end, one. All the paths. Karma Yoga also starts with the two. I am the doer, and three, the doing process and the done object. When three become one, Tripurti dissolves in the one, then Karma Yoga is without ego. There is no doer here. Everything is done by the Absolute. Raja Yoga also starts with all these eightfold paths. And Jnana Yoga also, we hear the scripture, we contemplate over it. All these are in dual process. And when Nididhyasana ends, the last decision, the mind becomes absolutely calm and unpointed and rests on the Absolute One. So everywhere, devotion also starts like this, the devotee and the Lord, and it dissolves in one Absolute.
Maharaj, but as per your 360-degree logic, so if it is something which is external to it, so then we cannot say it is the true love.
External to it, matlab?
External to you, because it is one, it has become many.
It starts with the two, bhai. We are in relative world, dualistic world. World is constituted by pairs of opposites. So it starts with pairs. Two will be there. And it ends in one. So, where is external? Always it is relation between two. When the positive is there, negative will be there. Day is there, night will be there. Without night there is no day. Without day there is no light and night. So both starts, and when understanding dawns, then there is only light, because night is absence of day. So absence is always absent. It cannot be present, and present is always present. Na bhavo vidyate satah na sato vidyate bhava ubhayorapi drishtantva tanavayaha tattvadarshibhi. One who sees both together decisively and rests in one, he is the real seer, real knower of the truth. When you see two, you are deluded. When you see the Absolute One, it is not seeing, it is becoming. So, he is the knower of the truth. Everywhere it starts with the two. Whether you call it external, internal, or upper one or lower one, call it as you like. It starts with two, it ends in one. Everywhere. When there will be two, in a fraction of a second, your mind decides it is like this. When you see the wall, then you see, how do you say it is a wall? Because it is a decisive thought. Some barrier is there before you. Then you say it is a wall. No, it is not a wall, it is a window. No, it is not a window, it is a door. Who decides it? It starts with two, what it is, and ends in one decision. So all these two thoughts, they react against each other and they decide what it is. That is the work of the intellect. Mind's work, that process is called intellect, that's all. The same mind does everything. Mind is nothing, no singular. Mind is always plural. You know, once I told you, and this is something strange to accept, there is no singular noun or adjective or any action or reaction. There is no singular number in philosophic grammar. Everything is plural. Everything is plural. When you analyze the one, it becomes many. So how can you say it is singular number? Are you one or many? When grammatically, I is singular word, isn't it? One, I, and the plural is we, isn't it? But grammatically, it is singular and plural. But philosophically, I is not singular. The word I is not singular. It is plural only. When you analyze, but as per the grammar, grammar is nothing but a system of language to make it easier to transact. That's all. It expresses the meaning of the words generally in dualistic world. It never points out the truth. It is not philosophy. It is system of language. A proper system of language is called grammar. So there we have to follow the rules. For the language, if you are using the language, you have to use the language in singular, dual and plural, all these. But when you come to philosophy, philosophy has got only one language. All the words are meaningless, there is no grammar for it. If it is a process, then there will be grammar. In philosophy, the absolute one dominates everywhere, reigns over the whole dualistic world. In this way, we are discussing on the thought waves. Every two thoughts will have a diagonal decisive thought that is called intellect. In this way, intellect goes from grosser to subtler. If intellect is working throughout, then it will reach the intuition or feeling, bhav. It reaches there. And the scene is discriminative power. Decision between the two, final decision. So in this way, this mind works. So one should understand what is intellect. It works throughout. It is called only mind, but subtler mind, the decisive mind. Now, the mind, the subconscious mind, intellect and egoism, these four are called internal, inner fourfold mind, has of understanding subtle objects. Wisdom is knowledge of the self. Buddhi jnanam. Jnanam is wisdom. It is not dual, it is one only. Knowledge of the self. Wisdom is knowledge of the self. And then comes asammoha. This asammoha, non-deluded. This delusion is most complicated word to understand what is delusion. Because the moment you start understanding it, you are deluded. When you taste the wine, you are gone case. How can you say what is wine? You are subject to it. Now you are under its clutches. You cannot taste wine and say it is like this while drunk. Of course, when you are free from its clutches, then you remember how it was. Some experience, some impressions. In this way, non-dual, non-delusion is called asammoha, is freedom from illusion. That means also the truth. It consists in acting with discrimination. Discrimination we are now discussing. It is the culmination of intellect also. So intellect will be deluded and it will be free from delusion. Intellect only will be free from delusion. So, free from delusion means discrimination also dawns there in the end. And it consists in acting with discrimination when anything has to be done or known at the moment, at the present moment, then only discrimination works. There is no time factor there, now and here. So discrimination has to work there. And with it, other factors we have to see also. Patience is the non-agitation. Patience, non-agitation of the mind when assaulted or abused. This is also included in asammoha. If you have no patience, then you are deluded. No patience means mind is flittering. Intellect will not, it will fail to decide. That is called delusion. So free from delusion means the discrimination, and you should have patience. The patience means one-pointed mind, it will not be agitated. Agitation means the clumsy thoughts and not being able to decide what is right, what is wrong. There is no discrimination. There is no intellectual power. That is called impatience, agitation. So non-agitation, which is known as patience, that is also included in asammoha. And patience is the non-agitation of the mind when assaulted or abused by this abuse or some unwanted words. When you hear it, then naturally mind becomes agitated, means it gets deluded. So non-delusion means free from all these agitation, that is called patience. And not thinking of any harm or evil for those who have assaulted or abused is also patience. Not reacting against the unwanted situation, words, what you hear, not being irritated, not being agitated, that is called patience. Patience has got another definitions. There are so many definitions, and patience also has got another definition, that in Sanskrit, विकार हेतु सति न विक्रियन्ते येषां चेतांसि ते एव धीराः. Dhira means patient. He is a man of patience. Yes? You want to say something? You want to say something? No? Okay. So patience is also not being agitated, means though there will be cause for agitation. Vikar hetu, vikar means agitation, irritation, or not the natural way of the object, that is called vikar, modification or transformation or getting confused. So that is called vikar. Vikar hetu sati, even though there is cause for your agitation, and yet you are not agitated. Jesam na chetansi, whose mind, fourfold mind, chetansi, plural number, whose minds are not agitated by the situation, even though there is cause for agitation. They are called patient. Te eva dhiraha. They are called people of patience. So now you must understand what is called patience and how it is a part and parcel of non-agitation or non-delusion. Without patience, asammoha is impossible. So this non-delusion state includes all these. other qualities also. One quality has many other supporting qualities. So, patience is the non-agitation of the mind when assaulted or abused, means when there is cause for agitation, yet not agitated, not thinking of any harm or evil for those who have assaulted or abused, is also patience. Indirectly, patience also known as ahimsa. Ahimsa means having no agitation. Even you face an unwanted situation, you have some cause for agitation, and yet you are not agitated. That means the dog is coming to bite you, but you love it. You don't have the negative thoughts against it to harm it, because it is coming to harm you. You are not having any negative thoughts against it. That is called non-harming nature, not to cause any harm to anyone. That is called ahimsa or non-violence. Non-violence also is included in patience. Though you have some cause for reacting, you don't react. That is called patience. That is indirectly also known as non-violence. There is cause for taking revenge, doing harm to others, but yet you don't. So that is non-violence. That is also patience. You bear it, forbearance, adjustment, accommodation with the situation. All these qualities are hidden in it. That's why your mind is not agitated. One quality holds support of other qualities. You see, one battalion of army will have one commander. That commander will be supported by each and every individual soldiers, isn't it? Similarly, one good quality, divine quality, will have relationship with all other good qualities. It is not independent of itself. It holds all other qualities within it as supporting causes. So in this way, ahimsa also, non-violence also, though you have right to react, cause for reaction and taking revenge, but you don't. What did Gandhiji say? If somebody comes and slaps you at one cheek, show him the other, let him slap in the other, bear it. This is called non-violence. I have taken your pen, borrowed your pen for some work. I didn't have any pen to write. So I asked you, can you give me your pen for 5 minutes? You gave it. And after working, finishing my work, I have kept it on my table. I didn't return you back. I shall do it afterwards. But in between, you needed the pen, and without taking my permission, you have taken your own pen from my table. That is also called you have created agitation. That is called hinsa. That is also known as stealing. Understood how subtle you have to think. Because if I come afterwards and search for your pen to return you back, I don't find your pen on my table. So does it not create any agitation in my mind? Where has it gone? So you have to take permission from me, then you can take back your pen. It is your pen, you have right over it, you have ownership over it, but yet you don't have right to take it without my permission. If you took it, it is called offense. So such is the subtle analysis of all these qualities, negative as well as positive. So this patience holds all, our non-delusion concedes all these qualities. Patience is enduring without lamentation, without reacting. You endure everything. The three kinds of pains, अच्छा क्षमा, asammoha, क्षमा, forgiveness, and you should have patience to bear, endure all these three kinds of pains, adhyatmic, adhidaivik, and adhibhautik. These are called tapas. These are called tapas. Fever, etc. is called adhyatmic pain or discomfort from severe cold, heat, too much rain, thunder, and lightning, etc. is adhidaivik pain. Pain from scorpion sting or snake bite and wild animals is adhibhautik pain. So all these are included in non-delusion. You should endure all these. That is otherwise known as titiksha. Asammoha holds all these qualities. Now we come to Satyam. Kshama is forgiveness, to bear everything, endurance. Satyam is called truthfulness. Satyam or truth is veracity. It is speaking of, see the wordings, it is speaking of one's own actual or real experience of things as actually heard or seen by your senses. Whatever you have perceived by your senses and you thought, this is what I understand, you have to express it as it is without any modification, without any addition and deduction. You have to speak out, express it as it is. There is not the least twisting or exaggeration or the slightest modification of facts. This is called Satyam. And sometimes further we go, some of the great definer who have experienced the truth, how difficult it is to observe truthfulness. They say, Satyam bruyat, priyam bruyat, ma bruyat satyam apriyam. You have to speak the truth, but it should be soothing to others. Priyam, it should be acceptable by others. Ma bruyat satyam apriyam. The truth which is not favorable, not liked by the others, you should not speak it. You should not express it. Then the question comes, how to express then? If I don't express, that is also an offense. You know it, you have to speak it out. If you know it, you have to speak. You have to express it. How to express? So very difficult. Ma briyat satyam apriyam. Satyam cha nanritam briyat. Priyam cha nanritam briyat. Because it is liked by others, I should tell a lie. No, that is not also allowed. You cannot lie because it appeases others. No. Priyam jana anitam briyat eso dharmo sanatanaha. This is the eternal truth. How difficult it is. Yudhishthira is the incarnation of truthfulness. Dharma, satyam, ahimsa. He observed this vow lifelong, yet he made little crookedness within. So he had to suffer for it for a while. Nareva gunjare asattamahata. He was forced by Lord Krishna to say so, or else something was going on which was undesirable. So Lord Krishna is the knower of 3 periods of time: omnipresent, omnipotent, and omnipotent. So whatever he decides, that is the final. So Yudhishthira has to obey him, and as a result, he made a little crookedness where all others were also partners. Mahabharata. So in this way, this truthfulness is such a great, difficult job, and it is defined in many ways by many seers. And then Satyam, Damah, Samah. Dharma or self-restraint is control of the external senses. It is withdrawal of the senses from their respective objects, that is sound, touch, form, and palatable foods and fragrance. Dhamma. Dhamma is restraint, self-restraint. Dhamma. It is not called dharma, it is dhamma. Dhamma or self-restraint is control of the external senses. It is withdrawal of the senses also. Sama, samattam yoga uchyate. This is Dhamma also consists withdrawal of mind, and again from the outgoing senses and having relationship or contact with the sense objects, withdrawal of the mind, and thereby the senses will be under control. Senses are just like the horses driving the chariot. If they are not under control, the four wheels of the car, if it is not under control, any moment it can cause a severe accident. So, all the time one must be alert. क्या नजर हटी दुर्घटना घटी. Little unawareness can cause a great accident. So, all the time continuous alertness, then only you have controlled the senses, or else senses can go anywhere and do anything. It is so very difficult to control the mind, control the senses. You see, they have given so many examples of uncontrolled senses which cause death to the beings. The fishes are caught and they are killed because of tongue. The elephants are caught because of the touch, and the snakes are caught by the ear, or the deer. They hear the sweet melody of the songs and they become very stable, and the hunter comes and kills it. So in this way many other beings, they meet death, the last, because of the senses uncontrolled senses. So Dhamma is controlling the senses and keeping under one's control. Sama is calmness or tranquility or of the mind produced by checking the mind from thinking of external objects of the senses and by disconnecting it from the senses. Sama is a supporting hand to the Dhamma. You see, every moment you should be watchful. That is called alertness. If you don't watch your mind, the senses are free to do anything and everything, then they will be without control, and then any accident may happen. So Sama means watching the mind and controlling the senses and keeping a balanced state. That is called Sama. Samattam Yoga Uchyate. Again and again Lord Krishna gives importance to this divine quality. Without this, nobody can achieve the goal. Sama, tranquility, the balanced mind, or which has no agitation, which has got no reacting mood, or which is not reactive at all, which endures everything, endures all the pain and pleasure, everything. So this Sama includes all other good qualities. It is not one. Just as we were discussing the intellectual power, so also Sama is a supporting, cooperating group. Head is Sama. It causes the balance, harmony, a harmonious life. That is called Samatvam. And that is the aim of the yoga. One should lead a balanced life. And thereby mind will be under control. Any moment you can fix it. Not any moment, all the moment. Continuously it should be fixed on one point, that is absolute God. So that is the result of Sama. That is a must. Sama. Sukham, dukham, happiness, and dukham is pain. Happiness, that which has dharma or virtue as its chief cause, and that which is favorable to all beings is happiness. It is in a higher sense. Ordinarily we understand happiness means it is the senses, enjoyment of the senses, or five tanmatras, enjoyment of or having contact with desired objects, that is called happiness. I want to eat sweet, you have given me some sweets, so I have contact with the tongue with the object. So I am happy, but who are you to be happy? Who are you then? So In the gross sense, it is the tongue, then it is the sense, and then it is the mind who enjoys the senses, and then it is intellect also, and then it is subconscious mind and ego also. So it goes on changing. There is no happiness. So happiness is one-pointedness. Finally we go to the absolute one. The enjoyment of oneness or being one with oneness, that is called real happiness, which is eternal, uninterrupted. That is also known as bliss. Eternal, continuous, uninterrupted, unpolluted, untainted happiness is known as bliss. And that is also otherwise known as peace and silence also. And that is also samatvam. So if we see one thing from all-round vision, one thing has so many aspects, different aspects from different angles. So in this way, we have gone beyond time. So this is called happiness and unhappiness, having contact with unwanted objects by the senses, that is called unhappiness. Pain, which appears in Acha. Bhavo bhava. Bhav means existence, presence, and that also the presence of the body, that is birth also. Grossly, or in subtle way, meaning, it is the existence of the Absolute. And that is found everywhere in all the objects, Sat, which exists, that is called Bhava. Abhava, absence, the just opposite of it. Bhavo bhavaha, bhayam cha, abhayam eva cha. This bhayam, dvetat bhayam bhavati. Of course, that which appears is called bhava. Sat is bhava. Asat or unreality or disappearance is called abhava. And bhayam, sukham, dukham, and bhayam is fear. Fear, when there is two, there will be fear. Dvetat bhayam bhavati. Why? Because of doubts. Why doubts? Because when two are there, always there is hanging, swinging the thought wave to decide what is what. So this is how the doubts arise. When the doubt is there, then if it is smaller than this, then this smaller finger will have fear of the longer one. Why? Because it will dominate me over me. It will cause harm to me. This is how fear arises. And why the stronger or the taller one will have fear? Because the smaller one will be bigger once. The smaller only becomes bigger in the course of time. So it may become bigger than me, stronger than me. So the future, so all these doubts, they cause the fear. And when there will be two, there will be doubts. Nobody can check it. This is called relationship, because relationship is not permanent. It is between the two. So, when the relationship is there, dependency is there, and there is no freedom, so naturally there will be fear. So it is decidedly said, if two are there, then there is fear. So when you attain absolute oneness, then only you can overcome fear, or else there is no chance to get rid of fear. This is how all these qualities we have seen. Tomorrow we shall see further. Ahimsa, samata, tushti, tapa, dhanam, jasa, ajasa, bhavanti bhava bhutanam mattayeva prithak vidhaha. All these qualities are born out of me. Tomorrow we shall see the fifth. Hari Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasesate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadguru Bhagavan ki jai. Sachidananda Bhagavan ki jai. Krishna Bhagavan ki jai. Gita Mata ki jai.